Brian Holman,
Here.
Vic Mays.
Here.
David Mills,
Here.
Jacob Pack, Don Polly,
Here.
Steve Perry,
Here.
Sarah Stewart, Travis Miller,
Here.
Glenn Yeager. We have
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is action on the minutes from our July 24th meeting. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is citizens' concerns. There are no citizens in attendance, so we'll just go ahead and move forward on the agenda. The next item would be the formation of a nominating committee to select candidates for the president and vice president positions for 2026. What I will recommend is those members who are in attendance today be that nominating committee. So that will, is there a second, or is there a vote for that? Or an objection for that from any members? Okay, so we will be the nominating members for the nominating committee. The next item would be nomination of candidates for president and vice president positions for 2026. Voting for those positions won't take place until our first meeting in January of 2026. Are there any individuals who first would want to nominate themselves for the president position for 2026? And then I'll also make a comment that I have to roll off because my 2-year term has elapsed. So is there anyone who would want to nominate themselves for the president position? Jim is the current, Vic asked who the current vice president is. Jim Dodger is the current vice president.
If nobody else is begging for it.
Okay.
Second.
Oh, come on.
Since we don't have anyone
Obvious, Jim. You're the guy, man.
Let me grill you guys back in. So that was to see if anyone wanted to nominate themselves. We'll move into, does anyone have any recommendations for a nomination for the president's position? Okay, so Jim will be one name. Is there any other individuals that would be recommended for that position?
Who's not here?
That's how I became vice chair years ago.
But wait a minute, I showed up and I
Okay, so are there any other names that would be recommended for the president position? Okay, not hearing none, we'll move to, is there anyone who would nominate themselves for the vice president role for beginning in 2026?
Anybody not into the table?
Okay, hearing none, is there any recommendations for any member for the vice chair role for 2026?
Mr. Wilman is not wanting to do this, is this correct?
Well, I'll put it this way. If it's sort of a natural succession into the chairman's role, I don't know if I could do a good service to the committee in that role, but
How about Mr. Pollock? Don? Vice President?
I could try it.
Okay, we can add Dawn's name to the list for vice president. Are there any other names that would be recommendations? I will add Travis's name to the vice president's role if he would be willing to entertain it.
I would entertain it, but there are extenuating circumstances that may lead to my stepping off of the planning commission.
Understood. So we'll go ahead and remove Travis's name from that list. Okay. And David Hava is not here, but I talked to a couple members earlier. I'd like to add David's name to that list as well.
and then we'll have a final vote in January, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the nomination will stay open until January.
Yes. Yeah, we'll vote for those rules at that January 22nd meeting. Okay, that will close those two items. The next item is the first reading of the proposed amendment to the Planning Commission bylaws regarding the Ordinance Review Subcommittee.
Yes, this was a language that was hashed out at the recent Ordinance Review Subcommittee meeting. We have to have two readings, this being the first reading, and then we can have a second reading in December. And if you, the board is in agreement, then you can make a motion to adopt this proposed amendment to the bylaws. On your iPads, it is file number 4. If you'll scroll down to, it's labeled as Section 8, Ordinance Revision Subcommittee in red and yellow highlight. This is the proposed language. The Ordinance Revision Subcommittee, abbreviated ORSC, shall be tasked with reviewing proposed revisions to planning regulations, shall serve in an advisory role, making recommendations to the full Planning Commission, and may not take final action on behalf of the Commission. The ORSC shall consist of 5 regular members and 3 alternate members appointed by the Planning Commission President from the Planning Commission's membership. An alternate member shall serve when a regular member is unable to serve at a scheduled committee meeting and shall have the same powers and duties of a regular committee member. The regular and alternate members shall be appointed for a 1-year term by the President at the final Planning Commission meeting of each year to begin serving on the first day of the following year. All subcommittee meetings and records must be open to the public, consistent with applicable open meeting laws.
So I'll just provide some color to what I would say is a justification behind this. So we've had an ordinance review subcommittee for several years, for as long as I've been, on the Planning Commission. And I know recently, because there's 5 members, sometimes we've had issues in obtaining a quorum for a meeting. So the alternative members was a suggestion, working with staff in terms of how can we be efficient in having meetings to allow for things to move through processes without delays. So that's the background of how we got to the point of this bylaw change. Does anyone have any comments? Not hearing none, is there we would need to recommend for this to be approved, correct?
At the next, this will be the first reading. We need 2 readings.
The 2
so
readings
we'll read
after
it
the second
again.
one,
And yeah, let me add also, the original bylaws, or the current bylaws state, these bylaws can be amended at any regular meeting by a 2/3 vote. We're proposing to add the term, these bylaws can be amended at any regular or special meeting by a 2/3 vote. That will allow us to approve them in December.
Okay, so we will not take any action today. They'll need
Right.
to be read a second time.
Right,
correct?
and in December, we'll read them again. You can choose to make a motion to accept that bylaw change if you
Okay.
see fit.
Thank you.
I want to just, something just popped in my mind that might be, and I just want to ask staff really if this would be helpful. And I realize that the reason we're doing this is because, we'll have the 5 regular members and then not have a quorum. Could we alternatively look at, rather than trying to put it on staff or whoever, if we set a meeting of the ORSC and we don't have 5, then they've got to go somebody's got to go try to run down 2 or potentially 3 other members. As an alternative to that, what about putting provision in here that allows the 5-member committee to waive the quorum requirement? Since this committee only recommends to us what they're going to do, and so they can take no final action, I don't see a problem with if they want to waive the quorum requirement. That way, if you don't have 5 people there and you can't get 2 or 3 others, there, that you can still, instead of having to go and schedule another meeting and come back, you can waive the quorum requirement, go ahead and, with the 2 or 3 people that are there, go ahead and take your action and then recommend it to the full planning commission. I'm just offering that up as a possible workaround if you can't get people to come to a committee meeting.
Which I know we've struggled with before, so I think that's a good idea. The only thing I would add to that is maybe make it a minimum of 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
You know,
2 or 3, yeah.
yeah.
Well, at 3, we would already have a quorum to begin with,
Three.
because it's a 5-person member, or
Okay.
committee. Obviously, it can't be one person.
Right.
I do like the idea.
I mean, if the committee was empowered to take final action, binding action, that's one thing. We wouldn't want to waive the quorum requirement. But since they're just recommending, I don't see any problem with waiving the quorum requirement. If you can't get enough people here. Just a thought.
I'm just trying to think of how that would be written.
Yeah, and it would put us back,
Well, and I don't believe this is, if we would adjust this, and then we would have to have our first reading in December, that's going to cause any delays. There's not really anything, I think, right now.
Okay.
That's pushing this. It was just something because of some prior meeting
yeah.
attempts, and we had delays, that we thought that this was a good idea to try to make an adjustment, so.
Well, in that case, I can take a stab at inserting a sentence in here on the quorum requirement if you want me to,
Okay.
and get it back to you all.
I will have to check with Mr. Fry to see
Okay.
if he's
Oh,
cool
sure,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe, give him that, sentence paragraph and then let him run that by.
Yeah, that'd be great if you want to shoot that to me, and I'll run it by Larry.
Yeah, it'll be a sentence or two at the
Yeah.
most. Yeah.
Did we email, do you have this via email? Do you not, this text, this proposed text?
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure I
okay,
did, yeah.
okay.
If not, I'll shoot you a text or
Okay.
something and shoot it over to
Yeah,
you.
that'd be great.
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm sorry I didn't think about that before now, but it just popped in my little brain.
No problem. And Larry was involved in some discussions, prior to this being in front of us. Okay, so we will move forward. The next item is the staff report.
Yeah, this will be a quick report, or we'll have the first meeting in January of '06, we'll have the full report for the 2025 year. This is a quick report through October relative to permits and plats and monies. It's file number 5 on your iPads. On page 2, you'll see a bar graph relative to the development permits we've issued through the calendar year of 2025 through October. As you see, in October, we issued 26 development permits, which that gives us an average of 28 per month, and that's actually 43% greater than where we were at this point in 2024. The next page is a bar graph relative to plat approvals. We have, you see, through October, in October, we approved 15 plats, and so far through 10 months, we're averaging 13 plat approvals per month, which again is 36% higher than we were at this point in 2024. The next page, page 4 of the report, is a brief synopsis of the monies, the fiscal year expenditures. So far in this young fiscal year, the 25-26 fiscal year, we are currently 16% below budget. The fiscal year revenue, again, it's very early, but I will like to point out that, which you'll have a full breakdown of in January, the 2024-2025 fiscal year was a record year for our department as far as revenue is concerned, with $159,610. Which averaged a $13,300 per month deposit. The calendar year revenue so far through 2025, we're doing really well. We're currently, again, calendar year, we are 83% ahead of our 10-year average over the past 10 years, and we're currently 46% over where we were at this point in 2024.
Hey, Dave, just a quick question
Sure.
on that record 2024-2025 year, that almost $160,000. Were there any large projects?
Yeah,
that drove that
the
down?
surgical center was a biggie.
Okay.
It was a
Yeah.
good one.
CMC?
Yeah, that was a good one. And we had, lots of other projects as well, but, that was a big one, which helped boost that number. The next page is the current permit status report relative to October. Be glad to answer any questions you have there.
Any questions for staff?
And again, you'll have a extensive report for 2025 in January with a lot more data.
Thank you, David.
Mhm.
Okay, continuing to move forward, the next scheduled meeting is the special meeting, I believe that most people are aware of, but that's December 18th. There are a few items that are time sensitive, which is the reason why we're having that meeting. So if you are able to attend, it would be appreciated. And then our annual meeting, as David said, would be on January 2nd, 2026.
Yeah, let me, if you don't mind, I'll add that in the December 18 meeting, we'll be hearing 6 amendments, text amendments, and 1 rezoning. So it'll be a full agenda in December. And January will be a large agenda as well.
Great.
And the one thing is going to be on that special meeting agenda be the question of rescinding what we did.
Yes, yeah, that'll be 3 of the amendments.
Okay, and on that, I did some more research on, because that's an unusual thing to do, under the parliamentary procedure. It'll be published, that'll be on the agenda?
Yes, it's already published, yeah.
Good. The reason I ask is, technically, we have to do what's called a motion to rescind. We can't do a motion to reconsider because you can only do a motion to reconsider at the same meeting or continuation. So because of that, it has to be a motion to rescind the prior action. And if that's not if that's not published, it would take a 2/3 vote.
Okay.
So with it being published, it's just a majority vote. But if we were just to do it, like if we didn't put the notice out to the public, it would take a 2/3 vote of the membership. So that's the only
Yeah,
reason I ask.
it's published just as you approved it at the ORSC, yeah, along with the additional items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a majority vote then.
Any other questions or comments?
Just wondering, if everybody knew that Truth Pharmacies were closing all their stores.
Yeah, I heard actually this morning that they had sold to Walgreens.
Really? I don't know.
Pretty sad.
It is.
Business for, the pharmacy, are the buildings going to be vacant?
I don't know the ins and outs.
I don't
Off
know.
record, I've been involved in some other pharmacies that have sold, and what has been done either CVS or Walgreens, they've sold the prescriptions, in the inventory are typically the big pieces of those sales. I would expect that to probably be the same. Unless Walgreens doesn't have a pharmacy nearby, they probably take that real estate as well, would be my guess. Okay, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
So moved. Thank you.